Kate Allatt from Sheffield had locked-in syndrome after a severe stroke, and she joins me in the studio now. Jane, good morning.
Hello.
Thanks very much indeed for coming in this morning. You had locked-in syndrome, didn't you?
Yes, I did. 7th of February 2010. I had a brainstem stroke at 39, and I collapsed, went home, so I went to hospital. 3 days later, after my coma, woke up, not able to move a single muscle.
I mean, this is a terrifying story for a start. 39 is no age, is it, to be?
No, at 39, 3 kids, 6 the youngest.
Oh, God.
I wasn't able to move a muscle. The thing with locked-in syndrome is I could think about everything. I was trapped in my own body, but I could feel everything. So it's like paralysis, but with pain. So you could feel everything but move nothing. If my head was pointing in the doorway, I could see people coming in. I could hear things going on around me, but I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't tell them I had leg cramps.
And did the doctors know you got locked-in syndrome?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
How long did it last for?
Well, I was on life support for 9 weeks.
Wow.
With a tracheotomy and everything.
Yeah.
So, very early on, the doctors didn't think I was going to get any better, and I'd never walk, talk, or anything like that. So it would never have happened that I would have been given an option in the acute phase in hospital to give up on life. That would never have been happened to me. What would happen is if I'd had pneumonia and I'd taken a turn for the worse, they'd have turned the machine off, potentially with the wishes of my family. But fortunately, that never happened.
Oh, thank God. But you've been there. You've seen something that most of us can barely contemplate.
Well, I have, and I wouldn't suggest for a minute I've been there for 7 years like Tony, or 17 years like Christine Waddell. And for 6 weeks I wanted an end. I didn't want to exist like that. I was a fell runner, 70 miles. I was 39. A stroke doesn't happen to someone my age.
So what happened then? I mean, you're remarkably mobile now and full of life.
Well, what happened was, it's all in my books, Running Free and Gonna Fly Now. But that's not a sensational plug, but they're on Amazon. But basically, it was an awful lot of being pig-headedness, goals, motivation. Anger drove me positively initially to turn it around from existing to wanting to be out of life to actually thinking, come on, I'm going to prove you all bloody wrong.
Yeah.
And that as a fight in me, and I think my personality carried me through a long way.
So what would have happened? I mean, as you say, this was you wouldn't have been able to make the decision in hospital to end your life had that been available.
No, I wouldn't, no.
But what if you'd made a kind of living will that said, if I ever get in that situation, then...
Well, to be honest, that happened. I with my charity Fighting Strokes, I mean, we're about inspiring and empowering people to make progress, and they do, and it's brilliant, and all over the world. But I get emails from nurses all over the world, one from South Africa recently, from a bloke who had a brainstem stroke. After 2 weeks, didn't want to live like that, had a living will, and he had to starve himself painfully to death, and he died. Because he didn't want to live. I don't know if he would have turned out like me. No one did. Not everybody can do what I've done. They haven't got the will, the motivation, or the support, or the injuries. Every stroke's different. But he died very painfully.
How long is it now since your stroke?
3.5 years.
I mean, it's an amazing recovery then, isn't it? To say
it is, yeah. It is. I'm very lucky, but I've turned this now to harness to help other people. I inspire people over the world to make progress, and they do. I mean, Christine Waddell, she's 17 years locked in, 41. She's now a massive supporter of Fighting Strokes. She runs our charity website, Facebook site, and she's so individual. Her and Bram, he's a DJ using eye tracking equipment. They've been locked in for a long time. They're very happy. Of course, they'd like their life to be different, but at the end of the day, they want to live. Tony didn't, Paul didn't, and that's an individual choice, and I think they should be given that choice.
How are your kids now? How do they cope with it?
Well, let's be honest. I'll just say teenagers.
Right, fair enough. Yeah. I would go with anything. Absolutely. Thanks very much indeed for coming in this morning, Kate. Much appreciated. That's Kate Allatt.